How much of your life is spent obsessing over what others think of you? We all crave validation and acceptance, but allowing the opinions of others to control our sense of self-worth can lead to crippling insecurity and unhappiness. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism provides a powerful antidote to this toxic mindset. In this video, we'll explore how to cultivate the Stoic art of not caring what people think, and how to free ourselves from the shackles of external approval. We're all familiar with that warm feeling of being praised, liked, or validated by others. Maybe it's a compliment on your appearance, an impressed reaction to an achievement, or virtual likes and shares on social media. In those moments, we bask in the perceived approval, feeling more confident and worthy. However, this euphoric sense of validation is merely an illusion, a false sense of security that's as fleeting as it is seductive. The stark truth is that no amount of external validation can provide lasting self-esteem or fill the void of looking towards others to find our self-worth. True confidence and security must be firmly rooted within ourselves. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." We contradict our very nature by habitually deferring our sense of self-approval to those around us. This dependence on validation is a tragically common plight in our society of constant comparison and hunger for affirmation. Just think of how much of your mental and emotional energy is sapped by craving the approval of others. The relentless people-pleasing, contorting yourself to fit perceived expectations, living with the gripping fear that you could be rejected or disparaged at any moment. This insidious need for validation erodes your autonomy and self-trust. The Stoics had an antidote to this depleting way of living. They taught that the path to true, unshakable confidence lies in deriving your sense of worth solely from that which is within your direct control, your reasoned choices, attitudes, and actions. Everything external, including the praise or judgment of others, is fundamentally out of your control, and thus should have no sway over your self-esteem. As Epictetus proclaimed, if you want to make progress, put up with being perceived as ignorant or naive in regard to external things. True wisdom starts with divorcing your sense of self from the ever-changing impressions and judgments of others. Only from this position of uncompromising self-reliance and authenticity can you experience lasting inner peace and security. One of the most universally feared experiences is rejection. The sting of being turned down, left out, or critiqued can feel like a harsh attack on our self-worth. Yet the Stoic philosophers urged us to reframe rejection not as a threat, but as an opportunity for resilience and growth. From a Stoic viewpoint, we tend to perceive rejection through a distorted lens. We instinctively take it as a personal indictment on our competence or character. However, this is rarely an objective reality. More often than not, rejection simply reflects the differing circumstances, preferences, or perspectives of the other party involved. Rejection is one of life's inevitable experiences that allows us to practice detaching from our deeply ingrained aversion to discomfort, cultivating a sturdy indifference to circumstances beyond our influence. As Aurelius proclaimed, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." The sting of rejection cannot penetrate your core if you simply refuse to define the experience as harmful or self-diminishing. The Stoics firmly believe that criticism, rejection, and negative opinions from others are ultimately insignificant trivialities when viewed through the lens of personal integrity. As Epictetus once said, "It is outrageous that a man should regard the judgments of the masses as constituting either a good or an evil." When you remain steadfastly anchored in your values and principles, outside disapproval holds no grip on you. This is not to suggest repressing the discomfort of rejection. The Stoics certainly did not advocate being emotionally numb or indifferent. Rejection can initially be painful for your self-esteem and ego. However, by maintaining your equanimity and objectivity, you can choose to allow that transient wave of feeling to wash over you without drowning your core resilience. At its essence, rejection is simply a reminder that certain aspects of life lie beyond the borders of your sphere of control and influence. Once you intimately understand and accept this reality, you become liberated from railing against the uncontrollable. In our social media-saturated world, the insidious habit of constantly comparing ourselves to others is becoming an epidemic. We mindlessly scroll through meticulously curated highlight reels of friends' and influencers' lives, silently judging our own perceived inadequacies against their portrayed perfection. This compulsive comparison forms a trap of discontentment and loss of self-identity. The Stoic philosophers recognized this toxic pattern centuries before the modern era. As Marcus Aurelius cautioned, how much time he gains who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself. When we constantly compare ourselves to others, we ignore our own dreams, talents, and progress. This mindset makes us see others' success or happiness as a threat to our own. It leads to an unhealthy focus on things we can't control, while taking away attention from the areas we can improve in our own lives. The Stoics taught that the only path to fulfillment comes from diligently focusing inward, cultivating wisdom, virtue, and making the most of our individual circumstances and opportunities. As Epictetus remarked, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well." We must accept that each of us follows our own journey with unique talents, challenges, and callings. The trap of constant comparison stems from defining our self-worth through external factors like appearance, status, accomplishments, or approval. While yes, we have an innate tendency to use these elements as measurements to judge our value in society, the Stoics changed this flawed thinking. They believed your worth comes only from your intentions, choices, and actions that align with virtues like integrity, self-discipline, and logical thinking. When you shed the burden of needing to shape up against arbitrary external standards, you experience profound liberation. You stop unconsciously molding your persona to fit others' expectations and metrics. Instead, you live authentically in accordance with your principles, aligning your efforts with your individual potential and purpose. Not caring what others think leads to the highest form of liberation, the freedom that comes with radical self-reliance. When you unshackle yourself from dependency on external validation, you open the gateway to living with unbridled authenticity in alignment with your core values and principles. The Stoics revered self-reliance as the highest virtue, epitomized by the Greek concept of autarkia, the state of pure self-sufficiency and self-determination. In this enlightened condition, your sense of self-worth, confidence, and decision-making become impervious to others' opinions and judgments. Epictetus captured this ideal when he said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." When you base your principles and approval on your own values, you gain the freedom to live without fear or self-censorship. You no longer change yourself to meet shifting social expectations. This journey towards self-reliance involves facing the fears and mental barriers that make us crave external validation. We often seek approval from others because it gives us a false sense of security and certainty about our self-worth. The idea of living without this constant reinforcement can understandably cause anxiety and feelings of emptiness. However, the Stoics show that this perceived void actually offers a profound chance for self-actualization. By courageously breaking free from the need for approval, we are pushed into deep self-reflection, allowing us to redefine our core values and purpose, our true reason for being. This return to authenticity leads to what the Stoics called tranquility, a deep state of calm and inner peace that comes from living in harmony with your core values. Your well-being and happiness are no longer tied to external judgments or empty praise. Instead, true joy and pride come from consistently living according to your principles, no matter the circumstances. As Marcus Aurelius put it, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. When you stop craving and depending on validation, you no longer become a restrained, approval-seeking version of yourself. Instead, you experience the true freedom of being fully self-realized, guided not by others' standards, but by your own inner compass.